From the combined crew of blindandroidusers.com and accessibleandroid.com, it's time for your favorite Android podcast. Kick back now and enjoy another fine episode from these fanboys and gals as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here's your crew. Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2023 third quarter of the App Bonanza of the BAU podcast, which coincides with episode 139. I'm Warren Carr, along with my great co-hosts. I got John Dyer in Virginia, Doug Cameron in Edmonton, the Lebanese girl there, the pretty one in Lebanon, Karen Cohen, pretty one from London, Fidan, Salih Kundus, and my buddy there in Mumbai, Austin Pinto. We've got a great lineup for you guys today. We have the App Bonanza as I introduced it, and we have several of these. And we hope that you'll love these apps that we've chosen for you, or some of our listeners have sent in. We're recording on Saturday, August the 5th, 2023, and we do not have any announcements today. We simply wanted this to be a truly App Bonanza. John, what's going on in Virginia land? Any rains falling, or what's going on with you?
Yeah, we had a lot of rain this week, especially yesterday. There was a few flash flood warnings in effect, but luckily my area doesn't really flood too much where I live.
You know, we're probably having that effect because usually it doesn't rain here. And yesterday we had some rain last night, and it might rain again today. We're just going to be like maybe 79, 80 degrees, cloudy day. And we're having what we call the Hops Festival here in my little town. We do this the beginning of August every year. So it's a celebration time in my little town. You know, if you're a beer drinker, this is a time for you. Lebanese pretty one, what's going on with you?
Everything is going well here. Actually, we are starting to get the better weather, and this is good. And I hope that we will stay like that and we will not be victims of heat waves like other countries.
Great. And that young, handsome guy there from Turkey, I'm talking about Salih in Samsung City. Salih, what's up, my man?
Well, the Samsung phones are burning and Samsung City is burning as well. This heat's like 32 Celsius and it's going even more. Tomorrow is going to be 37. I don't know what to do tomorrow. Somebody take me away from here.
Put your meats out there and let them cook. You know, you don't have to labor in, barbecuing your meat. That's a good thing.
Yeah, sure.
Pretty one in London, what's going on, my dear?
Well, we haven't got a heat wave. We've just got loads of clouds, and today it's been raining most of the day. I think they're calling it Storm Anthony, which is not as good as Storm Fiona that we had last year. For obvious reasons, I think Storm Fiona was the best storm ever. No, it wasn't. It quite, in all seriousness, it did a lot of damage, and that wasn't good. But I did kind of enjoy there being a storm named after me. But yes, Storm Anthony we've got now. Yes, we've had lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of rain, and it's giving me a headache, and that's a bit annoying. So I think we're going to get some nicer weather later in the week. And my parents have been celebrating yesterday because they've been married for 50 years, and that's quite amazing. So I sent them a card and been doing the preaching, studying this week, doing lots of work. So yeah, that's the news from London.
Well, congratulations to your parents. That's a long time to be married, and it's a beautiful thing.
It is. It's a very long time.
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
I haven't even been alive that long.
That's okay. Dog boy, what's going on in that beautiful city of Edmonton?
Not too much. This weekend up here is Heritage Days, so we've got for the weekend fairly massive multicultural festival happening up here, so it's keeping pretty busy. Thankfully, Edmonton is clear away from all the fires, and our fires have downgraded to, I believe, 93 instead of 130 some. But, Canada's to blame for the West Coast now getting infiltrated from all the smoke from BC. So I'm getting a break from it, but everyone else is dealing with that crap now.
Nice. And the rum boy there, he wants to throw a coconut on my head. Austin Pinto, what's going on, my man?
So I think the rain has all moved to UK and England because the rain in Mumbai has greatly reduced. But there is some kind of some global warming effects can be seen because when last times and all it used to rain in August and then the rain used to stop, the weather used to be very nice and cool. But this time it's raining and the rain stops, then the weather returns back to heat. So that is the effect. And I'm down with a little bit of a flu. So to remove that flu, I'm sipping on Bacardi rum and sitting on a coconut tree and throwing all the coconuts down on my friends.
What a way to self-medicate. I love it. Way to go. Thank you, Austin.
So I remembered that Bacardi rum, that ad that used to come sipping on Bacardi rum. So I just mentioned that in the intro.
That's good.
Bro, you could get so much better quality than Bacardi. Like, come on.
I know. I just mentioned it for the ad.
I see. I have no clue what that is, but in any
Bacardi
case,
is like, if you want to get drunk fast and regret life choices, that's where you go.
Yeah.
If you want to drink something that tastes good, you don't go to Bacardi.
What would you
Then
have
can go
instead
to,
then?
Then you can go to
Oh,
Old
if
Monk.
you give me a bottle of Captain Morgan, I'm the happiest dude around.
Oh,
What about Old Monk?
Oh, Old Monk, yes. If I can find Old Monk, I will drink that and I'll be the happiest boy. But
You
it's
can
hard.
come to my house. You'll find a lot of it.
Well, then I'm going to have to come rob your house of all your rum.
all right. So I think what
Yeah.
that means is that we set sail with Captain Morgan
Hell
all the
yeah.
way from
oh, very good.
whatever to India. Great.
Good old Semos.
Coming up next, our app of the week, in which we show you how to use the app and review its accessibility. You can submit your recording for this segment. Email it to us at contactus@blindandroidusers.com.
We now turn on to our category of the App Bonanza. And coming up, we'll have our folks introduce these apps to you as we go along. And Doug, what do we have coming up?
Well, seeing how I did not use AI to create anything, we may as well intro ChatGPT so you can do that yourselves. Austin will teach you how to use ChatGPT so you can create better intros than what I just did.
Hello, all. In this app demo for the Blind Android Users podcast, we are going to demo the ChatGPT app, which is just released on Android. ChatGPT, as for those who don't know, is an AI that was launched on the website of chat.openai.com. Then they released an iOS app. Just now, or just today morning, there was an app release in India. The app was available for other countries some days back, but people in India had to register for those apps. So ChatGPT in detail, it is a text-based AI. So you can give it, let's say, a command, let's say, generate a Python script that can tell you the version number of Windows, or entertaining commands like tell you a story and give it a plot, or it can do whatever you want it to do. So I'm launching ChatGPT.
Camera. ChatGPT.
Gives you the
Continue with
option
Google button.
to
Double tap to
continue
activate.
with Google.
Continue with Apple button. Sign up with email button.
You can sign up if you don't have an account, but I have an account. But let's say I click on sign up and let's see what it says.
Log. Sign up with email. 0%. Edit box. Email address.
So the Chrome, it opens a Chrome page for you to sign up.
Web view. Create your account. Note that phone verification may be required for sign up. Your number will only be used to verify your identity for security purposes. Email address.
And these are the fields that they ask you for.
Edit box. Continue. Button. Already have an account.
So that's it. So then they ask you for your email ID, name, and phone number for identity purposes. They said that they will not use this data, but I don't know. So
Back.
let's go
ChatGPT.
back.
Black circle. Continue with Google. Continue with Apple. Sign up with email. Button. Login. Button. Double tap to
And
activate.
because I have an account, I click login.
0%. Progress bar. Chrome. Web view.
So when you click the login, Chrome window with the website opens. I'm going to fill in my credentials and I'll be right back. So after you log into ChatGPT, it takes
This
you
official
to
app. Welcome
this
ChatGPT.
screen.
This official app is free, syncs your history across devices, and brings you the latest model improvements from OpenAI. ChatGPT can be inaccurate. ChatGPT may provide inaccurate information about people, places, or facts.
This is because as of the date of this recording, ChatGPT, at least the free version's information date has been cut off to September of 2021. But they will be keeping it updated as time goes on. There is a pro version also, and that is for content creators and professionals who use AI.
Don't share sensitive info. Chats may be reviewed by our AI trainers to improve our systems. Control your chat history. Decide whether new chats on this device will appear in your history and be used to improve our systems. Continue. Button. Double tap to activate. Black circle. Showing English USQWERTY. Menu. Button.
So now we are in the main ChatGPT window. There is a menu.
Black menu. Button.
If you click on
Navigation
this,
menu. Austin Pinto. AustinPinto.Xaviers@gmail.com. Keyboard hidden. ChatGPT.
it shows you your email address,
New chat. Tab. Double tap to
and there
activate.
are tabs.
History. Tab. Double tap to activate. Settings. Tab. Double tap to activate. Help center. Tab. Close navigation menu. Help center. Settings. Tab. Double tap to activate.
This app is very accessible as of now, as of this, at least what I'm seeing in the starting. So I'm going to settings, and
Navigate
let's
up.
see
Button.
what we find
Settings.
there.
Account. Heading. In list. Email. Subscription. Free plan.
So the subscription, let's click on these and see what are the options.
Navigate up. Button. ChatGPT Plus. Premium features. Plus subscribers have access to GPT-4 and our latest beta features. Priority access. You'll be able to use ChatGPT even when demand is high. Ultra fast. Enjoy even faster response speeds when using GPT 3.5. Coming soon in app. Button. Disabled.
So premium feature is not yet launched. It's coming in the app, but these are the options that you get if you take the premium feature. I don't recommend because
Button.
we do not need ChatGPT early access and faster usage. We are just normal home user. If you are a content creator or writer or something, or depend a lot on ChatGPT, then you can go for that.
Data controls.
So here is where you control your data, what you want to share and all with them.
Tab. Heading. Color scheme. System default.
You can do your control, your color scheme.
Haptic feedback. On. Switch. Main language. Auto detect. For best results, select the language you mainly speak. If it's not listed, it may still be supported via auto detection. About. Heading.
So here is the about and all this gentle stuff. So as of this recording, at least the data control feature does not do anything. And there are some bugs with TalkBack actually in this app. At least the first version is that you cannot click on the continue button while you log in. So you'll have to click on continue with Google and then select your email account, which is not very secure. But if you have to use the app
off. Lock
and
screen.
you want to use
94%.
it now, then you would have to try this alternate way, but I hope they update it, and surely they will. But the desktop website is not accessible, as in you cannot click on the send button. So the send button is unlabeled. It is just when you type a command, you press the tab key and there is a send button. Let's see what the app does.
Black circle.
So it says it's a black circle, and then
Box. Message.
there is the
Double tap to edit text.
message, which is not labeled. So the message should be a command or text input or something. It's labeled as message. The same thing on the desktop website. Also, the edit box is a message.
Showing English USQWERTY.
So the keyboard has opened, and I'm going to use the assistant voice typing. But this app, at least as of this date, does not support any voice input or any. You can't speak to it like you can speak to the G of Android. So let's use assistant voice typing and see what
Assistant
are
voice
the
typing.
results.
Window English US.
Who is Blind Android Users Podcast?
Who is Blind Android Users Podcast? Edit box. Double
So
tap and
this
hold to
is
long press.
the text that we typed.
Dictation button. Double tap to
It
activate.
has a dictation feature that is good. The desktop app, the desktop website may have this feature, but the buttons are unlabeled. So this is a good thing that they have done. They have labeled the button.
Send message button. Double
Yes,
tap to activate.
this is not labeled in the desktop, and again, it's not labeled correctly, but it's important that it's labeled as send message.
Dictation. Send message.
So dictation and send message are the only two options that you can do.
Dictation. Send message. Clear text.
And another thing, it gave me a slight vibration when the result was displayed on the screen. But I think there should have been a label saying that result is ready, or some alert or something spoken up on the screen.
ChatGPT as of my edit box. ChatGPT as of my last update in September 2021. There was no specific podcast known as Blind Android Users Podcast. However, it's possible that new podcasts have been created since then. I recommend checking popular podcast platforms or performing an online search to find the latest information on podcasts for blind Android users. In list. Double
Sometimes
tap to activate. Double tap
it
and hold to.
does not give you the answer that you want. So that is why you should not depend on these AIs for any content or fact checking or anything. So this is really strange, because when I typed the same thing on the desktop website, it gave us the podcast name, what topic does it cover, who are the hosts. So this is strange. Let's see. Anyway, let's use some entertaining. This for some entertaining. What is the best joke of the day?
Back. Voice type. ChatGPT as of my last. What is dictation button? Send message. Clear text. ChatGPT as an AI language model. I don't have real-time data and my responses are not updated daily with new jokes. However, I can share a classic joke with you. Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. Remember, humor is subjective, so what might be the best joke for one person may not be as funny to another. If you'd like more jokes, feel free to ask in list.
So
Double
there
tap to
it
activate.
gave you a joke, although it gave you like a description of that joke. So what may not be funny to one person may be funny to someone else. So it removed the entire fun out of it because it gave the description. Before I end the demo, let me just test uh, how can it write Python script. So does it give you any input on Android? Write a simple calculator in Python language.
Send message button. Clear text.
So those clicking sounds that you hear is the a list of chats or list of commands that we used before that is expanding. So, and then it gave a slight vibration when the thing was ready. So let's see.
ChatGPT. Sure. Here's a simple calculator in Python that can perform basic arithmetic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Def add x, y. Return x plus y. Def subtract x, y. Return x, y. Def multiply x, y. Return x, y. Def divide x, y. If y equals 0. Return error. Cannot divide by 0. Return x, y.
Print select operation. Print 1, add. Print 2, subtract. Print 3, multiply. Print 4, divide. While true. Choice equals input, enter choice 1/2, 3/4, or Q to quit. If choice lower equals Q. Print goodbye, break. If choice not in 1 foot, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet. Print invalid input, please try again. Continue. Num1 equals float input, enter first number. Num2 equals float input, enter second number. If choice equals 1 foot. Print result, add num1, num2. If choice equals 2 feet. Print.
So that is a very long calculator, and that is what you can use ChatGPT. It's really a good programming tool or good checking tool for programming. But however, one caution is that some of the programming code or some new programming language might have been introduced after September 2021. You won't get information about that as of the recording date of 28th July 2023. This may be changing in future. I don't know about that. So that was a short demo of this first version of ChatGPT Android app. They say that they're going to release an app for the Wear OS, so it's going to come on a watch nearby. But let's see how far is it true. Really, I use it a lot for mostly entertainment purposes or to write scripts like Python scripts and all. It can do that. So that is it from me. That was a short demo or a long demo. I don't know how, whatever you will call it, of ChatGPT, which is very famous, and the Android app that is very welcomed to the Play Store after a long wait that we had this app.
Thank you so much, Austin.
And next, we have Salih demonstrating a unique take on note-taking apps. This app is called Note to Self.
Hi, it's Salih here, and for this app bonanza, I'm recording the app called Note to Self. This is a note-taking app, and what makes this app interesting is it lets you talking to yourself interesting. And it's a simple note-taking app and also pretty accessible with few unlabeled buttons. And I like this app, and it lets you take notes in different categories, and it's easy to do, and lets you take voice notes and text notes, even add in images. So let's take a look at this app. I'm using my Samsung S21 FE running Android 13, and for speech engine it's Google TTS.
Note to self.
Okay, let me launch Note to Self.
Note to self. Your mind is for having ideas. I'm starting new, but your mind is for having ideas, not holding them. David Allen. I'm starting new, button. Restore from backup.
You can start new and restore from backup. Since we have no notes, we are going to start.
I'm starting new. 70%
New.
onboarding progress. Progress bar.
Yep.
Almost done. We're creating a few notes to get you started. Let's go. Button.
Let's go.
Note to self.
So when you open the app for the first time, you have 4 notes as the main categories.
Daily journal. 12:34 a.m. Researchers have found that keeping a daily journal helps you in achieving goals, improves confidence, and reduces stress. If writing every day feels too hard, use the voice note feature and record you live in your own voice. Empty. Bucket list. 12:34 a.m. Remember, if it doesn't scare you, it shouldn't be in the list. I'll start. To read, watch. 12:34 a.m. Books, shows, articles, or rare videos. Put all their names and links here and get back to them whenever you're feeling bored. Here. Notes. 12:34 a.m. Welcome to Note to Self. Ideas, lists, or anything on your mind. Put it all in here. Long press on this note for delete, edit, and other options. Empty.
Okay, this is the 4 notes that you see. The interesting part about this app is it's like a messaging app, and you see 4 conversations, and you can type any note in any of them. And there are also options. Let's see them.
Menu.
Going to
Your
menu.
name. ID close. Button. Your name. Your name.
You can write down your name.
Total notes. 4.
4 notes, 4 categories, as you see.
Backup. Restore.
You can backup and restore as a file. It doesn't have automatic Google Drive synchronization. You can just go and export it as a file and share it to your drive manually.
Text resize. Notes lock. Off. Switch.
You can even lock your notes here.
App theme.
You can change the theme.
Rate.
And rate the app.
Share.
And share it.
Contact.
Contact the developer. They periodically post new update to the app, and it's real good, and they listen to the feedback.
For Twitter, button. I've Instagram, button. I've Mail, button.
This is their handles on the socials. Let's go
Note
back.
to self. Search.
There's a search.
TV new, button.
And you can add a new group, like a new chat. So when you press this one, the 5th note will be added to the conversations list.
Daily journal, 12:34 a.m. Researchers have found that keeping a daily journal helps you in achieving goals, improves confidence, and reduces stress. If writing every day feels too hard, use the voice note feature and record you live in your own voice. Empty. I'll be back, button.
Okay, let's press on this and you see the notes here.
Daily journal.
Daily journal category. It's the chat of daily journal.
I've the group, button.
You can delete this group or edit the group of name of the group.
Today.
It's conversation started today.
Researchers have found that keeping a daily journal helps you in achieving goals, improves confidence, and reduces stress. If writing every day feels too hard, use the voice note feature and record you live in your own voice. 12:34 a.m.
This is the message or the title of this category, as you see. You can start
What's on your mind? Edit box.
here writing some words, and then
I've attachment, button.
you can add an attachment.
I've sent, button.
Or press the send button, or long press it to record a voicemail. It's pretty simple, like you're using any of the messaging apps. You write your message and press send, and it will be in your notes in this category. It's like any other chat with messaging app. You just write your message, but you talk to yourself as you do the note to self. When you press this
I've sent, button.
Send button and long
Allow note
press,
to self to record audio.
it asks you to record audio.
Only this time, button. Don't allow, button. Only while using the app, button. I've sent, button.
As in any of the messaging apps, long pressing on this send button starts the recording, and releasing your finger lets you send it to yourself as a voice note. It's pretty simple, and I like this app. So if you want to delete a category, you can
Bucket list.
open, for example, this bucket list,
Bucket list. End of field. Clear text.
and there's
ID clear title.
this
Button. ID clear title. Button.
clear title button
I've done. Button. I bucket list. Edit box. I group image. Button. I delete group. Button.
and delete group button. Once you press
Delete.
on this,
Delete. Yes. Delete. Button.
you will see
Note to
yes
self.
delete button, and the bucket list category is gone, and you have left with 3 conversations here.
Notes. 12. Menu.
Okay, this is pretty simple note-taking app. It lets you talk to yourself in a messaging view, in a sense of messaging to yourself, and you can even send yourself voice notes, images, and you can export those notes as a file and upload to your drive. I hope you like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. I'll remember to have a little note to myself.
We don't stop and we don't want to stop. It's the reading era, and my friend Warren Carr introduces the app called ReadEra. Over to you, my friend.
In celebrating the third quarter of 2023 App Bonanza of the BAU podcast, which coincides with episode 139, I'll be demonstrating an e-reader that reads a bunch of different formats. I'm talking about ReadEra. That's R-E-A-D, capital E-R-A, so it's either ReadEra or ReadEra. I am on the Play Store now and will navigate to ReadEra, which I already have.
ReadEra. Book Reader PDF EPUB.
I'll tap here.
Navigate up. Button. ReadEra Premium. Ebook Reader. ReadEra. Book Reader PDF EPUB.
I would like to mention from the get-go that there are 2 versions. There's the free version, and that's the one I'm demonstrating. I have purchased the premium one. However, I'm going to be demonstrating this app using the free version. The good news here is that this app does not present any ads whatsoever, whether it's free or not. The only perks that you get as a premium user is the fact that you can read or listen to your books or documents with the screen turned off. With the free version, this, however, is not possible. I am on that page now and will tap on the Install.
Install button. Pending. Verified by Play Protect. ReadEra. Book Reader PDF EPUB. ReadEra. Book Reader PDF EPUB. 46%. 48%. 50%. 100%. Installing. Open.
The app has been installed and I'll now tap on Open.
ReadEra. Menu. Button.
Upon launching the app, the first thing we heard was Menu, which is found near the top left corner of the phone. I would, however, want to mention a few things here, that there are buttons in the app that are not labeled. TalkBack, however, is doing the heavy lifting, and therefore we find the buttons that make sense. Before we get started, let's see what it says.
Ideal for fascinating reading of books, magazines, textbooks, and documents.
In other words, you could read your documents or your ebooks and documents, including the likes of .docx, text files, etc., etc. And then below there, we have
Continue button.
Continue button. We tap here to get started.
Find all books and documents available on the device. Cancel button.
Upon tapping on the Continue button, the page we landed on is a page that asks as to whether or not we would like to allow it to scan our device for books and documents. Now, you can choose to tap the Find It, or you could choose the Cancel. There's a Cancel in the middle to the left and the Find to the right of it.
Find button.
Now, you could decide to cancel, and then you could manually search and choose which folders it should search for. So I'm going to tap on Cancel.
Cancel.
For
button.
example, because if I tap on Find, it's going to look everywhere that has any text or things relating to text, and you may wind up seeing a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to tap on Cancel.
Scan disabled. Settings button. Books and documents.
And
Menu,
we are
button.
told that scan disabled and all of that. Now, so here we are. So we are at the top again where it says Menu, and then moving to the right,
Books and documents.
there's a title there that says Books and Documents. So by default, we're placed in the Books and Documents.
Search books and documents.
To the right of that is the search, and near the top right corner,
More options button.
we have the More Options. Since we're sitting here on the More Options, let's tap here to see what the More Options contains.
Pop-up window. Open single file in list.
Tapping on More Options, the first item we come across is Open a Single File. Below that,
Sort by.
we have Sort By, and if we go in here, for example,
Pop-up window. Sort by. Heading in list.
we hear Sort By Heading, and we got the following.
Name. Radio button. Not selected.
You could search by name, by file type, and all of that.
File name. Radio button. Not selected.
File name,
File format. Radio button. Not selected.
the format,
File size. Radio button. Not selected. Modified time. Radio button. Selected. Read time. Radio button. Not selected.
and that's the last item. I'm going to go back and look at the next items.
Books and documents. More options. Button. Out of list.
Doing the back gesture, take me back to the main UI, and I'll have to tap on that More Options again.
Pop-up window. Open single file in list.
And we were at
Sort by.
Sort By, and the next item below that
Filter.
is the filter. So you can go in here and choose to filter the type of documents or formats you don't want it to read. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Filter. PDF. switch off, out of list.
So you could tell it to not search for PDF files.
EPUB, switch off. Word, switch off. Doc, switch off. DOCX, switch off. Mobi, switch off. TXT, switch off. DJVU, switch off. CHM, switch off. RTF, switch off. ODT, switch off. FB2, switch off. AZW, switch off. Comic, switch off. CBR, switch off. CBZ, switch off. No author, switch. No series, switch. No collection, switch. Unread, switch. 0. Cancel, button.
And the last item here is cancel. I'm going to tap on cancel. So in other words, you can choose the things you wanted to filter out among the list of items that I just showed you above there.
Books and documents. More options, button.
Let's tap on more options again.
Pop-up window. Open single file, in list.
And below the filter, we have
Retrieve all covers.
retrieve all covers.
Go to premium.
Go to premium. Go to premium. That's the last item here in the more options. And again, what the premium does is give you the ability to read with the screen off. And that's one of the perks for getting the premium. It's $11, $10.99 for the premium. And let's go back.
Books and documents. More options, button, out of list.
Now let's go back to the top left and tap on that menu.
Menu, button. ReadEra.
Tapping on menu, we heard ReadEra.
Reading now.
There's reading now. That's the books you're currently reading.
Books and documents.
Here, books and documents. I tap here. It'll take us to where we were, where it'll be showing a list of documents and books that you're reading. Next.
Favorites.
Here is where you'll find your favorites. That is, items that you've added to the favorites.
To read.
You can tap here to see the books that you've marked for that to read. Next.
Have read.
Or this is where you'll find books that you've marked as having read, and so they'll be placed in the have read. Next.
Authors.
Authors, you can put books in authors.
Series.
Series.
Collections.
Collections.
Formats.
Formats.
Folders.
Folders. Here's where you can choose what folders to scan. We'll come back to that.
Downloads.
Downloads.
Trash.
Trash.
Settings.
Settings.
Send feedback.
Send feedback. And that's the last item. Let's go into the settings though, because there may be some important things here we need to take a look at. And I'll go ahead and tap on settings.
Settings. ReadEra. Back. Button.
Tapping on settings, we heard back, found near the top left. Putting my finger down and moving down below that.
File scan.
We hear file scan. That is, I could tap here to scan my device. Below that.
Backup and restore.
Backup and restore. And this is probably one of those things that may require a premium purchase. I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and check.
ReadEra. Back. Button. Create a backup.
Oh, you can create a backup.
Backups do not include your files. Be sure to copy the book and document files you want to save.
Okay.
Import file.
There's the import file.
ZM. Button.
And then something to the right of that. But there says ZM button. I have no clue. Let's tap here and see what that does.
Recent. Show routes. Button.
Ah, that takes me to the internal root of my device.
The Nothing to Phone Brave review.
So there is showing some of my documents.
ReadEra.
Going
ZM.
back.
Button. Out of list.
All right, now I'm going to go back again. I hope it doesn't take us out of here.
ReadEra. Backup and restore. In list.
So we're back to backup and restore. Below that.
Read book when start. Continue reading the last book or document on the app startup. Switch off.
In other words, if you wanted to resume reading when you start the device, or rather start the app, that is, read the last book you are reading, you could turn this on. Next.
Reading. Heading.
We come to the reading heading, and below that reading heading, we've got
Flipping an indicator of pages.
Next.
Text-to-speech TTS.
This is important, and this is one of the reasons why I actually purchased this, because it has some nice ARIA voices that I really like, and I think those voices are coming from Microsoft or wherever they're coming from, but they're known as the ARIA voices. And I'll tap here to show you what I'm talking about. So we tap here to choose the TTS voice that we would like, and there are several supported regions and languages in here. Tap here.
Text-to-speech TTS.
Tapping on that, now put my finger near the top and go down.
Voice, not selected, out of list.
We heard voice not selected. We'll come back to it, but let's look at what else is here in the text-to-speech area.
Speech rate, normal.
You could tap here to change the speed you would like.
Timer, turned off.
Timer, you could tap here and choose to not use a timer, or it will time you out after some time, and you could choose how long you want it to stay active for. I think the max is like an hour or something like that. And that's the last item. Let's go ahead though and tap on that voice selection.
Voice, not selected.
Let's tap.
Voice.
I have tapped on the voice, and I'm going to show you some of the things that are in here.
Language, dash, English. Select a text-to-speech voice for this language from the list of available ones.
So you tap in here by default. Mine is set to my system default, which is the English language. If the English, however, is not your language, you tap here and choose your language, and that will show you the languages or voices that are relevant to the chosen language. Now, staying with the English language, below that we have the following.
ARIA, Natural TTS, United Arab Emirates, in list.
And I'm going to scroll down.
ARIA, radio button, not selected.
I'm going to go down and choose
ARIA,
United States, for
radio
example.
Button, not selected for ARIA. ARIA, Natural TTS, Hong Kong.
I'm going to scroll
ARIA,
down.
ARIA, Natural TTS, Street, Lucia. Radio
Lucia.
button, not ARIA, Natural TTS, Netherlands.
I'm scrolling
ARIA,
down.
radio button, not selected for ARIA. ARIA, Natural TTS, United States.
Here's United States.
ARIA.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English.
Now, if you scroll past these ones and going down below, you can even choose your local TTS engines. For example,
ARIA.
Scroll down.
ARIA, Natural TTS, Zimbabwe.
Let's scroll down below that.
NSXIOB Local, Google, United States.
So you could choose the local Google Voices.
NSXTPC Network, Google Online, United
The
States.
online ones.
Google,
Scroll down.
NSXTPF Network, Google Online, United States. NUSSMTMOO, Samsung, Mail,
So those are some of my local
English,
voices.
United States, ETI Eloquence TTS.
Eloquence in there. So as you can see, that's how you go about
Google Online, United
selecting
States.
your TTS engine. I'm going to go back.
Text-to-speech TTS. Voice, ARIA, out of list.
Now let's go back.
Settings. Back, button.
We are back to the settings, and now below that TTS engine we got
Full screen mode, hide status bar and navigation bar, switch off.
Below that,
Day-night by touch, switching color modes by touching the upper left corner, switch on.
Next,
Multi-document mode, open books and documents in a new window. Switching between documents via the Active App, System button, switch off.
Next,
Screen on, keep the screen on for 10 minutes longer than your current system setting, switch on.
So it's up to you, or you can use that timer that I showed you earlier.
Other, heading.
We come to the other heading. Below the other heading, we've got
Interface language.
interface language.
Parental control.
We got parental control.
Usage statistics. Help to improve the app by automatically sending anonymous statistics about its usage. Switch on. About ReadEra. Version 23.07.15 plus 1830.
And that's the last item. I'm going to go back.
Books and documents. Books and documents. Out of list. Scan disabled. Settings.
Now
button.
I am back to the menu I, and we heard it says scan disabled because I didn't give it that automatic scanning. Now we could go one way or the other in how we add books with the automatic scanning disabled. We could tap on that menu and go tap on folders and choose the folder we wanted to scan, or we could tap at one of those unlabeled buttons, which is being labeled by TalkBack at the bottom right, and that simply says the plus or something.
A0B button. Detected. Icon. Add. Text. Plus.
There we go, detected icon add plus, and I'm sure this is probable that one could activate the labeling feature. Let me see if it allows
TalkBack
labeling.
menu. Add label. In list.
There it is. If you want to add some meaningful thing, like maybe add book or add document or whatever, you could tap here and just add that label. And this is not the focus of this, so I'm going to tap on cancel.
Cancel. Button. Books and documents. Detected. Icon. Add. Text. Plus. Button.
All right, so I'm going to tap here.
Back. Back. Button.
Tapping there, we got the following.
Specify the desired search area for books and documents on your device.
And moving down.
Everywhere on the device.
So we got everywhere on the device.
Check box. Not checked for everywhere on the device.
And below that is a checkbox to the right, and it's not checked. If I check this, then it will scan every part of my device. Next.
In downloads.
In downloads, and below to the right.
Check box. Not checked for in downloads.
The checkbox is not checked. Next.
In the selected folders.
And then in the selected folder, and that's the one I'm going to choose, and down and to the right of it.
Checkbox. Not checked for in the selected folders.
Checkbox is not checked. I'm going to check it.
Checked.
Now that I have checked that, meaning I'm going to select a folder that I would like it to scan or look in, then I'll move down.
Add folder. Button.
There's an add folder there to the left in the middle.
Open single file. Button.
Or to the right of it is an open single file.
Add folder. Button.
I'm going to tap on the add folder and show you how you go about adding folder. And then we could tap on add a single file as well.
Files. Warren's S21. New
so
folder.
There we are. And
can't use this folder. To files on Warren's S21. Out of grid.
And I'm going to go to my books.
Alarms. Wrote audiobooks. Books. Column 2.
Here's my books folder. I tap.
Books. New folder. Out of grid.
Tapping on books now near the bottom, I got
use this folder button.
Use this folder. Tap.
Allow ReadEra to access files in books. This will let ReadEra access current and future content stored in books.
And I'm going to tap on Allow.
Cancel button.
And Allow to the right of it.
Allow button. Back. Add folder button.
There we go. So I've added that folder.
Remove storage emulated 0 books button.
I could tap to remove it.
Done button.
And I could tap on Done at the bottom.
Scanning books and documents.
And now it's scanning.
Metadata retrieving. 92%. Hide button. Metadata retrieving. 93%. Hide button. Add to read.
As you can see, I got a lot of books in this folder. Now, to the left and going down along the left side are the list of your books. For example,
read the Irma Bombeck collection. Read the Ghost Mountain Boys, row 4.
I'm just moving my finger down.
Read The Global War on Christians. Dispatches from the
I'm going to scroll down.
Read Sweet Southern Hearts, a Willow Hill novel, row 7.
Now, what I do want to mention here in passing is that to the right of each of these books, you'll find the following buttons.
Add to favorites.
There's add to favorite to the right of that.
Add to read.
Add to the to read, that is to read later.
Add to have read.
Add to have read, that's the books that I have read. Next.
Collections 0.
There you could add it to the collections. And the last item on the right of that.
More options button.
We have the more options, and that's relating to the book in question. If I tap here.
Pop-up window. Share file. In list.
There's a share file.
Move to trash.
I could move that book to the trash.
Edit.
I could edit that book. In other words, I could tap here to edit the name of the author and series and things like that. And that's all we have here in the more options. Now go back.
Books and documents. More options button. Row 7. In grid. 103 rows. 1 column.
Now, because Google may flag us down for copyright if I decide to read one of these, but I'm going to show you at least one of these things by importing a single file, and I'm going to import something that I had written. Now I'm going to tap on the menu found on the top left.
Menu button out of ReadEra.
Here we are in the menu, and I'm going to tap on Books and Documents.
Books and Documents.
Tapping on Books and Documents, of course, it's going to show the books that I have scanned into my library here.
The Global War on Christians.
But I'm going to go down at the bottom.
Detected. Icon. Add. Text. Plus. Button. Out of grid.
And tap on that Add button.
Back. Back. Button. Specify the desired search area for books and documents on your device.
And so we are back to where we added the books folder. This time I'm going to tap on Add Folder and choose the Documents folder.
Storage emulated. Add folder.
We tap on Add Folder, which takes us to the internal storage again.
Books.
So by default, we are in the Books folder. And so what we need to tap on is your internal storage. And it depends on what your setup is. Mine will say my name and says the name of the device.
Warren's S21.
And that's there on the left. I tap.
Warren's S21. New folder. Out of list.
And now I'm going to go tap on Documents.
Documents. Row 4. Column 2.
Here is Documents. I tap.
Documents. New folder. Out of grid.
And in here, I have the items that I have in my documents.
Nothing to phone review. Doc 20.51 kilobytes. 3:20 p.m. Row 3. Column 1. In grid.
There's that
3 rows,
nothing
2 columns.
phone review there. And I need to tap at
Use this folder. Button.
Use this folder.
Allow ReadEra to access files in documents. This will let ReadEra access current and future content stored in documents.
And I'm going to tell it to allow.
Cancel. Button. Allow. Button. Back. Add folder. Button.
And now tap on Done at the bottom.
Done. Button. Books and Documents. Menu. Button. Scanning files. Settings. Button. Scan completed.
All right. And that Nothing to phone should be in here.
Nothing to phone review. DOCX. 21 kilobytes. Row 3.
And I go ahead and tap on it.
ReadEra. Back. Button. Out of grid.
Tapping on that pops up items near the bottom. We could add it to
Add to favorites.
Favorites and all of that. Those buttons that are there to the bottom right of it.
DOCX. 21 kilobytes. Files. 1. File format and size.
And it tells you how big the file is. Now on the top, however, we got
Back. Button.
Back to the right of it.
About document.
About the document.
Read. Button.
And then there's a read to the right of it and to the top right.
Read aloud. Detected.
There's a
Icon.
read
Play.
aloud as
Text.
well. And if I just tap on
Read. Button.
read,
ReadEra. Nothing to phone review. Section. Setup screen and language selection. Page 1/3.
all right, so it's reading the heading of that document. Now, I do want to mention here in passing that one of the shortcomings of this is that it doesn't seem to expose the text to the screen reader. Therefore, one is forced to use the TTS readout. Now that I've tapped on read the document, we have some items found near the top. Starting from the top left, we've got
Exit reading. Button.
this exit the reading. To the right of that,
Read aloud.
there's read aloud. To the right of it,
Text search.
search,
Contents, bookmarks, quotes.
contents, and bookmarks. So if it's a book, you tap here, you could choose the chapter you want to jump to and things like that.
Reading settings.
And here, reading settings, when you tap on that, it's going to take you to where you could change things like the fonts, and you'll also get to where it says general, and tapping on that will also take you to the TTS settings where we've been. Now, if I tap on the read aloud, for example,
Read aloud.
and tap,
Allow ReadEra to send you notifications.
This brief review would be focusing on the Nothing to phone, since the original Nothing phone wasn't made available in the States. In this brief review, I'll be looking at the following: setup screen and language selection, SIM card support, your information, biometrics and optional stuff, restoring your apps, software, looking at the system settings, screen reader action support, the glyph interface, and
I double tapped to stop the reading. Now, below that, we first heard it talking about whether or not we want to allow it to show notifications. It's up to you. So
Allow.
we got
Button.
allow or
Don't allow. Button.
do not allow. It's up to you. I typically don't allow apps to send me notifications. I tap on do not allow.
ReadEra. TTS settings. Detected. Icon.
Now,
Settings.
at the
Text.
bottom left,
VRAM. 3
we've
feet.
got
Detected. Icon. Close. Stop.
At the bottom left, we got close. And of course, TalkBack is doing the heavy lifting. And you can bring up the actions to go add like the label to it. Let's check to be sure that this one also supports the labeling.
Talkback menu. Add label. In list.
Great. It supports labeling. I'll tap on cancel at the bottom. So that one is to stop the TTS, and that will close it, for example.
Cancel. Button. ReadEra. Detected. Icon. Close. Stop.
To the right of that, we've got
Detected. Icon. Settings. Text. VRAM. 3 feet. TTS settings.
that will be the TTS settings. If you tap here, it'll go take you back to the TTS settings where we were earlier. Moving to the right.
1 of 16.
That's the page where you are located at.
Previous. Icon. Play. Left. Text. Enter. L.
We got
Previous.
the back button. That's the previous. And then to the right of that.
Detected. Icon. Play. Right. Next.
That's the next. And above those two buttons, and it's sitting like almost in the middle between those last two buttons, is the play
Detected.
button.
Icon. Play. Button. Read aloud.
And if I tap here, it'll resume reading. Here's what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, for some reason, even though it allows you to stop the reading by double tapping with two fingers, for some reason, when I try to double tap with two fingers to resume, it's not doing that. Let's try it again.
Detected.
Screen reader action support. The camera. Audio and microphone. OS
Now I'm
updates
going to
and
tap
security
with two
patches.
fingers. That's double tapping to
Conclusion,
stop.
my thoughts. Setup screen.
It stopped. Now I'm going to try to double tap with two fingers again.
As described in the unboxing video, that
It's
nothing to
working
phone
now.
is a
All right. But if I close this, there's a problem that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to tap on that close at the bottom left.
Detected. Icon. Close. Stop. Touch the center to display the menu.
Now that I closed it, we heard the message saying that in order to show the menus, that is the items that I showed you earlier at the top of the screen where we picked on the read aloud, you have to tap in the middle of the center and activate those menus. Unfortunately, for those of us who are screen readers, this is not possible for some reason, and it's one of those things that I'm going to be writing the developer about. You can, however, if you have a newer device, you could activate or invoke the pass-through gesture. For me, however, I have the four-finger double tap and hold to activate the pass-through gesture. So I will tap twice with four fingers, holding my four fingers down on the second tap, and then let go and tap with one finger in the middle, and that should pop up the menus near the top. Here's what I'm talking about. Then tap. Now that I tap, I got those things up at the top.
Read aloud.
There's read aloud there. So if I tap.
Detected.
Setup screen and language selection. As described in the unboxing video, that nothing to phone is a 6.
I double tapped with two fingers to pause the reading. Now, for example, if I double tap again, I'm hoping it should resume it as it did earlier. And I think that is possible because the controls are still open at the bottom where we saw things like TTS settings, read next, and the play button. So let me double tap and see if it still works.
128 gigs of internal storage with 8 gigabytes RAM,
Now I'm going to shut off
256
the
gigs of
screen.
internal storage with 12 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabytes. As described in the unboxing video, that nothing to phone is a 6.7-inch phone with the following storage and RAM configurations. Of internal storage.
Now, it will stop after a while if I left the screen shut off because this is not the premium version. If I had the premium version, however, it will continue to read so long as I've tapped on the turn the timer off. That has been a quick review of the ReadEra, READ, capital ERA app. I hope you find it useful. Thank you so much, and I hope I'm not in error here.
And now we'll move to the next app presented by John. It is a Ruthless app. It's my favorite launcher. John, go ahead with the Ruthless Launcher demo.
Hello. Today I'm going to be demonstrating an app called Ruthless Launcher. You can tell by the name it's a launcher. And for those of you who don't know what that means, this is basically an app that will replace your home screen and app drawer. So if there's anything you don't like about the default setup on your phone, that's something you can change with a third-party launcher. This is actually my favorite launcher. It's definitely not the most feature-complete launcher out there, but that's kind of what I like about it. It's simple, it gets the job done, and it also supports talkback actions, which makes customizing it a lot easier. One thing I do want to mention, though, is that this app has not been updated in over a year, so if that's something that concerns you, just be aware of that. Me personally, it doesn't bother me at all. It works perfectly fine, and, if it's not broken, don't fix it. It's usually my stance on things. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to set it as your default. So I've just downloaded it. I haven't even opened it yet. I'm going to go into settings.
Settings. Profile picture. Double tap to open Google account button.
Now I'm going to look for apps.
Network and internet. Mobile. Wi-Fi. Hotspot. Search settings. Connected devices. Bluetooth. Pairing. Apps. Assistant. Recent apps. Default apps.
You're going to go here.
Apps. Navigate up button.
Look for default apps.
General. Heading. See all 197 apps. Default apps. Chrome. Phone. And messages.
Go here.
Default apps. Navigate up, button.
Find Home app.
Phone app, phone. Settings, button. Home app, Pixel Launcher. Default home app. Navigate up, button.
And change this from Pixel to Ruthless.
Selected, radio button, Pixel Launcher. Not selected, radio button, Ruthless Launcher. Selected. Welcome. Ruthless is a completely free application with no advertisements, hence no revenue is generated by it. If you like this application and want regular updates, then kindly contribute in its development by donating.
So when I set it as the default, it opened it, and because I've not opened it yet, it got a message asking me to donate since it's a free app. You can just back out of this, and it won't bother you again.
Ruthless. Assistant at a glance.
So now we're on the home screen, and I'm just going to show you what's here by default. The at a glance is at the top.
Monday, July 31st. Partly cloudy, 84. Apps list.
I have no icons on my home screen. There's just dock icons. So the next item when I swiped was the apps list icon, which is right in the center of the screen above the dock. So then I'm going to swipe again. That's going to take me down to the dock.
Phone. Messages. Play Store. Chrome. Camera. Unlabeled, button.
And this unlabeled button, I think, is part of the Google search bar at the bottom. And that's everything that's here by default. I'm going to show you how to add something to the home screen. So you can press that apps list button that I mentioned that's above the dock, or you can just swipe up with 2 fingers, which I'm going to do.
Search apps, edit box.
I'm just going to search for an app here. Type Facebook. Now there should just be one result here.
Facebook.
Now I'm going to swipe through all the actions just so you can see what they are. I'm going to swipe down.
Shortcuts. Uninstall. Add to home screen. Activate.
So those are all 4 actions. I'm going to swipe back up to add to home screen.
Add to home screen. Item added to home screen. Assistant at a glance.
I'm going to add a couple more real quick.
Search apps, edit box.
Type Netflix.
Netflix. Add to home screen. Item added to home screen. Search apps, edit box.
Type YouTube.
YouTube. Add to home screen. Item added to home screen. Assistant at a glance. Monday, July 31st. Partly cloudy, 84 degrees. Facebook.
So I'm just going to swipe through items here. Have Facebook,
Netflix. YouTube.
Netflix, and YouTube.
Apps list.
And then next is apps list because that's all that's on my home screen. Now I'm going to show you how to make a folder.
YouTube.
So I'm back on YouTube. I'm going to show you what all the actions are here.
Shortcuts. Remove. Move item. Activate. Shortcuts. Remove. Move item.
So I'm going to go to move item.
Action. Create folder with Facebook.
And then you can either create a folder.
Create folder with Netflix. Move to row 2 column 3.
Or move it to a different spot.
Move to row 2 column 4.
So I'm just going to create a folder.
Move to row 2 column. Create folder with Netflix. Folder created. Folder.
So it's just called folder, but if you open it.
Netflix. YouTube. Unnamed folder. Edit box.
You can tap here.
Unnamed folder. Back.
Type video.
Video. End of field. Done. YouTube. Keyboard hidden.
Now if I back out of it.
Folder closed. Folder. Video.
You'll see it's called video. So I'm going to show you how to add a widget to the home screen. So if I swipe right from this folder, I'm going to go to the apps list button.
Apps list.
And this is important. Because you can't put the home screen itself in focus like you can on the Pixel Launcher, which in my opinion is a good thing. This is where you would go to get those actions. So with the apps list button in focus, these are the actions.
Wallpapers. Widgets. Home settings.
So that's how you get to these things. I'm going to go to widgets.
Widgets. Acapella TTS voices. Amazon Alexa, 1 wide by 1 high.
So I'm going to add this to the home screen, just show you how.
Add to home screen.
Again, these are actions. I swiped up.
Item added to home screen.
And I'm still here, so if I wanted to continue adding widgets, I could just keep going through this list. But as far as I know, I don't think there's a way to search for a specific widget. So I'm going to show you a second way to add widgets. I'm going to go back home.
Assistant at a glance.
Swipe up with 2 fingers.
Search apps, edit box.
So now I'm on the apps list. Type Pocket Casts.
Pocket Casts.
So now I've found Pocket Casts in my apps list, and if I go through the actions.
Shortcuts.
find shortcuts.
Shortcuts. Podcasts. Search. Up next. App info. Widgets.
I'm going to swipe through.
Podcasts. Search. Up next. App info. Button. Widgets. Button.
Double tap there.
Pocket Casts widgets. Touch and hold to pick up a widget.
So you can double tap and hold to move this to the home screen if you want to, but I'm using all actions in this demo.
5 wide by 1 high. Pocket Casts. Add to home screen. Item added to home screen.
Now that's on the home screen. I'm going to go to the home screen.
Assistant at a glance.
So here it is on the home screen.
Pocket Casts.
And now I'm going to show you what the actions are for widgets.
Remove. Move item. Resize. Activate.
So I'm going to resize this.
Remove. Move item. Resize. Resize. Decrease width.
As you can see, my only option
Resize. Decrease width.
is decrease width because it's already the width of the screen. So I'm just going to do that.
Widget resize to width 4 height 1. Ruthless. Pocket Casts.
And now I'm going to show you how to move items to another screen.
Remove. Move item.
Again, I'm using actions.
Action. Move to row 3 column 1.
Now, I'm going to swipe to the left with 2 fingers to go to the next page.
New home screen page. Move to row 3 column 2. Move to row 1 column 2. Move to row 1 column 1.
I'll put it here.
Item moved. Pocket Casts.
So now I have 2 pages, and I'm going to show you how it behaves when you have multiple pages. So if I swipe left, since I'm on the first item on the second page,
Home screen 1 of 2. Ask Alexa.
that scrolled the page to the first page and went to the last item on the first page. So if you're swiping through your items, it will turn the page rather than go down to the dock or the apps list button. Of course, you could also scroll the page just by swiping with 2 fingers or by doing the scroll gesture that you have in TalkBack. Now that I've showed you the basics of customizing your home screen, I'm going to go through some of the settings with you. Now to get to the settings, again, you put that apps list button in focus. It's kind of a small target, so what I usually do is I put my dock in focus.
Messages.
And I swipe left.
Phone. Apps list.
Until it gets to apps list. And from here, you could swipe up using actions.
Home settings.
Go to settings.
Ruthless settings. Navigate up, button.
Now keep in mind, you can also assign this to your home screen as an icon. Just find Ruthless settings in the app drawer and add that to your home screen.
Home settings.
So here's what we have.
More options, button. Notification dots, notification access needed.
So this is where you would go if you want to have notification dots, which means if you highlight an app that has notifications, after TalkBack reads the name of the app, it will tell you how many missed notifications you have from that app. But obviously, in order to do that, you have to give Ruthless Launcher permission to access your notifications. Next, we have
styles, grid, icon pack, accent, and more.
So I won't open this up, but I'll just touch on what you might want to go in here to customize. While you don't care what the icons look like, you probably do care how many there are. So this is where you would go to change the grid size, meaning how many rows and columns of icons you have. Next we have
home screen, news feed, margin, and more.
So I will open this section.
Home screen. Navigate up, button. Home screen. More options. General, heading. News feed, disabled.
So this is going to be if you want to add a Google feed to the left of your home screen, like the Pixel Launcher has.
Get news feed, on left of home screen. At a glance, at the top of your home screen, on, switch.
So this is the at a glance. This is where you can choose whether to have that there or not. I like to disable this.
Allow home screen rotation, when phone is rotated, off, switch.
Self-explanatory.
Customization, heading. Show numeric badges, off, switch.
Now this is simply a visual setting. Whether this is on or off, TalkBack will still read to you how many unread notifications you have from each app if you've enabled that.
Enable infinite scrolling, off, switch. Fade page transition, on, switch. Show icon label, on, switch. Allow 2 lines label, off, switch. Show status bar, on, switch.
So these are just a couple of the settings. I won't go through every setting. You can explore for yourself. So I'll back out of this section.
Ruthless settings. home screen, news feed, margin, and more. Dock, search widget, icons and more.
Go in here.
Dock, navigate up, button. Dock. More options, button. General, heading. Show search bar, on, switch.
So this is whether you want the Google search bar at the bottom, under your dock.
Search bar icon, monochrome icon. Search widget, default.
This is interesting. So you could change the widget from Google search to a lot of different widgets. For example, Pocket Casts is one of the ones it supports. So if you're always listening to podcasts and you want those controls to always be at the bottom of the screen, home screen below the dock, where the Google search bar usually is, you can put that there. So you can replace the Google search widget with another widget or completely remove it if you want to.
Show assistant icon, off, switch. Show dock icons, on, switch.
This is whether you want a dock or not.
Enable 2-row dock, off, switch.
If you want a 2-row dock.
Search provider, default.
You could change the search provider if you don't want to use Google.
Dock height, 0%. 0%, slider. Show label inside folder, on, switch. Disabling a entry will hide the component or disable its functionality.
And that's everything in this section.
Ruthless settings. Dock, search widget, icons and more. App drawer, background opacity, text color and more.
And this is where you would go to customize the app drawer in a similar way that we customized or went through the customization settings for the home screen earlier.
Gestures, swipe down, long press and more.
Let's see what's in here because this is interesting.
Gestures. Navigate up, button. Gestures. More options, button. General, heading. Swipe down one finger, open notifications panel.
So, of course, for us using TalkBack, that's a 2-finger swipe down. You can change this if you want. Obviously, by default, it brings down the notification panel. Just to be clear, this is a 2-finger swipe down from the center of the screen. So if you were to swipe down with 2 fingers from the very top, it would still bring down the notification shade, even if you have this assigned to something else.
Swipe down 2 fingers, open quick settings panel.
This doesn't really apply to us because if you have TalkBack enabled, the only way to use this would be to do a pass-through gesture. So I guess if you wanted to, you could do that.
Home button, nothing.
Home button. This is if you want. I'm going to show you a couple of options.
Home button. Checked, nothing. Quick search. Voice search. Open app drawer.
So for example, if you want it to go to the app drawer if you're already on the home screen, then you could change this.
Gestures. Home button, open app drawer.
So this only applies to the home button when you're already on the home screen. And it also applies to TalkBack's home gesture. So if you've gone home and then you press home again, either by pressing the navigation button or by swiping up with 2 fingers from the bottom of the screen, or if you do TalkBack's gesture, which by default is to swipe up and left, then that will take you to the app drawer now.
Long press, open pop-up menu.
This is for long pressing on an empty spot of the home screen. So again, you'd have to use pass-through to do this.
Double tap, lock using screen timeout.
This is something that does not apply to TalkBack users.
Lock gestures require their respective permissions by the user to perform their actions.
That's everything in here. I'm going to back out.
Ruthless settings. Gestures, swipe down, long press and more. Backup and restore, backup or restore your setup.
So this is where you would go to manually save a copy of your settings and home screen layout. And I just wanted to point out that you don't need to do this. If you want to have a copy saved somewhere, this is where you would go. But by default, this will save the app data of the app and back it up to your Google account if you have backup turned on. So if you end up factory resetting your phone or get a new phone and you restore from a backup and you pull Ruthless Launcher down from the cloud, the first time you open it, it will already have your home screen set up there and your settings set and everything for you already. So all of that is saved and backed up automatically.
App category, categorize apps in app drawer.
So I think that speaks for itself. This is where you would go to have different tabs for different categories of apps if you want to organize your app drawer a little more.
Secured Vault. Authenticate app launch through launcher.
And then,
About. App info.
so that's all the settings. I'm going to go back home now.
Ruthless. Assistant at a glance. Assistant at a glance. Search apps. Edit box.
Then I did the home gesture again just to see, and it took me to my app drawer. So that's working.
Assistant at a glance.
Okay, so that's really a quick walkthrough and demonstration of the app. A couple things I like about it compared to the Pixel Launcher is, I touched on this earlier, is that when you touch an empty part of the home screen, it doesn't do anything. It just lets you
Folder.
keep exploring
Ask Alexa.
until you find something. And when you go from item
folder.
to
Ask
item,
Alexa.
while you're exploring,
Folder. Video.
you don't have it touch the home screen between icons and say home every time. That's something that bugs me about the Pixel Launcher. And also the actions on here are a little more appropriate. There's more actions for doing basically everything you want to do. So I have absolutely no complaints about this launcher. I think it's a great launcher and I recommend it. Thank you for listening. Thank you, John, for that wonderful demo. I just wanted to point out now, since somebody kindly pointed out to me that I skipped over one of the settings near the end. It's a way to secure specific apps. I just want to mention it briefly. So if you want to require authentication when you open specific apps, you can do this, and it will be the same authentication you use on your phone. So if you unlock with a PIN or you unlock with a fingerprint, you can require that authentication when you open any app. Just keep in mind that this is only when you open the app from the launcher. So, if it's already open in your recents, or if you, for example, open it from the Play Store or from your phone settings, it won't require the authentication. So if you plan to use this feature, just keep that in mind.
Thank you for that addition and that clarification. So for those of you who would like to use your fingerprint to secure some apps, remember to do that.
And last week we had a wonderful Android Journey interview with Lena. And today we have an app demo from her. She is going to tell us all about VizLing.
Hello everyone, this is Lena. I have found an app called VizLing. It makes graphical material, and now I'm going to quote the developer, available to blind, low vision, and sighted readers. So far in the app, we have one very funny comic called My Blurry Life. The app is my favorite price, free. After installing it, it is ready to use. No need to create another account. Let's open VizLing.
VizLing.
Main menu.
Blurry 14 screen.
Okay.
Tutorial.
We have 3 buttons on the main menu screen. From left to right, you heard tutorials.
Novels. Navigates to the novels screen.
Novels, which is where we will find the comics. And About VizLing.
Novels. About VizLing. Navigates to screen.
The tutorial gives us an idea of how the app is arranged, and it also gives us some tips for navigating if we want to turn off our screen reader. I'm not brave enough to turn off my screen reader, and I have not tried this app with any other Android screen reader besides TalkBack. There are some quirks, but they aren't deal breakers because I really like the comics. We will take a look at novels.
About VizLing. About VizLing. Novels.
Menu.
Life is Blurry 14. Navigates to the Life is Blurry 14.
Now, there are a number of comics here. They are all numbered. They are in numerical order, but there are many numbers not here yet. So we have 14, 16, 23, 24, 25, 31. I wish they had titles. 14 is just some general stereotypes about blindness. 16 is bull in a china shop. 24, is Wonder Woman and Blind Girl. That's the one we're going to look at. Now, on this screen, we encounter our first quirk. TalkBack reads all the numbers twice. In fact, it has a tendency to read things twice in this app. And I don't think it's me. But I only have one Android phone, so I can't test it on another one. But hopefully you listeners will provide feedback on that. Okay, let's swipe over to number 24.
Life is blurry 6. Life is blurry 23. Life is blurry 24. Navigates to the life is
VizLing introduction.
Welcome to the VizLing home window navigation.
Okay, I've stopped the speech, and in order to get to the screen that has the frames for the comic, I will tap next page. One thing I like about this app is that things are consistently located. Whether we're using TalkBack or their built-in system, next page is in the lower right corner of our phone, previous page is in the lower left, play is in the middle. On the comic screen, the frame 1 is in the upper left, frame 2 upper right, frame 3 when there is one lower left, and frame 4 lower right. And if there's a caption, it'll be underneath frame 4. Okay, I'm going to double tap next page.
Back. Access. Recents. Welcome to the VizLing app. Previous page. Play button. Welcome to the VizLing. Previous page. Play button. Next page.
Life is Blurry number 24 by Marika Davis, page 1.
Now here is where the frames are. I'm not sure if I can have them read the app to you because of copyright law. So I will describe the two frames. In the first frame, we see Wonder Woman, who's got her shield slung over her left shoulder and her sword in her right hand. Standing next to her is a lady, and Wonder Woman says to her, "Who are you?" The lady says, holding out her white cane, "I'm Blind Girl." Superwoman says, "Yeah? What are your superpowers?" And the next frame, Blind Girl responds, "I can get through adversity. And I can break stuff and people don't get mad at me." We do have another quirk here. Getting back to the previous screen so we can read another comic usually does not work. And getting back to the main menu usually does not work unless we close the app and start again. When we're using their built-in system, sometimes we can get back to the main menu, but those are some things I hope that the developers will work out. The app is copyrighted by the University of Kansas at Topeka. This is a relatively new app, and I think it has the potential to bring a lot of fun to all readers.
Thank you so much, Lena. That's a great comic reading app. And for those of you who are into comics, it might be something to take a look at.
You're listening to the Blind Android Users podcast.
And the last link of this app Bonanza is brought to us by Joshua. It is the Zedge ringtone app, and a lot of people, old-time people, have used this app. So Joshua, please give us the demo.
It's Joshua here, and today I will be doing a demonstration on the Zedge app. It's a app where you can download custom ringtones, notification, sounds, and wallpapers. So I'm just going to go to my home screen here and go open the Zedge app. Just use the Google Assistant to make this a little bit easier. Oops.
Opening. Zedge.
Okay. Now Zedge is open. Now, some stuff in this app isn't, or doesn't really work all that well with TalkBack. I'll show you and you'll see what I mean in a minute. There was an ad there, so I just swiped down the left to close it, and we're in the app now. So starting from the top, we have it says author image. Now, then you have my Zedge. You have that. Wallpapers, video wallpapers, ringtones, notification sounds, and remove ads, upload content, and settings, help, information, and that's the last item. So I'm going to show you, I guess first I'll show how to download a ringtone or notification sound. So go to, we'll just go to ringtones for now, and there's your home tab, categories, premium, there's your featured wallpapers. Now, I'm just going to choose a random one here. I'll just choose this one, and if I double tap here, it's not going to work. So here is where the issue comes in. So I can't double tap on this. So there's, I guess, two ways you can go into here. You can either use TalkBack and just use the pass-through gesture, or you can use CSR and the direct click. So I'm just going to use the pass-through gesture with TalkBack. So I'm just gonna try and find it here so I know. Okay, I think it's that one. So I'm gonna do a swipe left then down, because that's the gesture I have to do the pass through. So I'm just gonna confirm. Okay, so now I'm gonna do a swipe left then down, and tap on that. Now, so where I tapped was kind of in the middle of the label, sort of the middle of the screen, and maybe kind of where the volume or power buttons are, and maybe a little bit below the power button is where I tapped. So yeah, now we're in another menu, and we have the name of the song, play button. Oh, I see what's going on here. So I guess there's more than one, or I guess there's like recommendations up here or something. So at the bottom of the screen, there's if you have some vision, there is a white button that's in the center of the screen, and that will be it will be your download button item, leave the item purchase button. So if I were to just double tap this, it will give you options like set ringtone, set notifications, set alarm sound, set contact ringtone, or save to media folder, and that's it. And if you want to do any of those, just double tap on whichever one you want, and that's what it'll do. So if you double tap on ringtone, it'll save it to your ringtones folder, and if you double tap on notifications, should save it to your notifications folder. But if it doesn't for whatever reason, you just gotta go find the file. It should be just normal MP3 file, and just move it to the notification folder or the ringtones folder, and then you can go to settings, and then at least on Samsung it's called sounds and vibrations, then ringtone or notification tone, whichever one you have your sound in, or whichever sound you downloaded. Sorry, so you go to your ringtone, and it'll be at the very top of the list under a heading called custom. So that'll be at the very top of the list below the sound ringtone notification sound slider. And yeah, that's how you can do that. So I'm just gonna go back.
Double tap to activate. Labels available. Use tab with 3 fingers to view.
There's a few other buttons in here that okay, there's a share button to the left of the pause. The download button. Shares to the left of that. There's an unlabeled button to the right. I don't really know what it does. Just double tap.
To activate. Labels available. FX Fleischman is in trouble. A limited series. Now streaming on Disney Plus. Double tap to activate.
That didn't really seem to do anything, so I don't really know what that button does.
Edge panel. Edge panels. Window. Web view. Windows edge. Button. Edge panels. Window edge panels. Web view. Windows edge.
I got it. I think I'll go to advertisements. I'm just going to close out of Zedge and reopen it.
Double tap to activate. Labels available. Use tab with 3 fingers to view. Pop-up window. Zedge. Double tap to activate. Label. Video wallpapers. 4 Brinkton. Notification. Remove upload content. Settings. Help. 10 of 11. Setting. Upload. Remove ads. 7 of 11.
Now we're going to look at the My Zedge section.
Alter image. Button. 1 of 11. Double tap to activate. My Zedge. Double tap to activate.
Go to My Zedge.
Up. Button. Out of list.
This is where all your ringtones and wallpapers and all that stuff is. So if I just swipe through here,
0. Notifications. Button. Double tap to activate.
That's like settings for notifications.
Settings. Button. Double tap to activate.
Then a setting.
Recent activity. Darth Vader's March. 21 sec. List. Recent activity. Out of list.
Did you have recent activity?
Darth Vader's March. Player button. Wallpaper. 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 The wallpaper. Fatality. Player button. 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 Fatality. 1 sec. Player button. Space line. Player button. 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 Star Wars theme. Player button. 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 Your content. Out of list. Uploads. Button. Showing items 5 days.
So that's all the stuff there. Then you have your content, favorites, downloads, collections, content preferences, and NFTs, purchases, and that's it. So I'm just going to go to say my downloads, and this is
Play out message. 3 sec. Player button. 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 Wallpaper. Column 2. Fatality. 1 sec. Column 3. Wallpaper. Column 2. Double. Wallpaper. Row 1. Player button. 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 Wallpaper. Row 1. Fatality. Player button. Button. Darth Vader's March. Player button. Button. Edge. Yoga message. 3 sec. Player button. 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 Wallpaper. Column 2. Double tap to activate. Player button. 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 Fatality. 1 sec. Player button. Darth Vader's March. Player button. 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 Yoga message. 3 sec. Row 1. Player button. 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 Double tap to activate. Labels available. Use tab with 3 fingers to view. Yoga message.
oh, I have the message thing here, so I'm going to actually show you how to download this, because this is one that I actually want to download. So I'm gonna go to the Like I said, it's the white one kind of near the bottom center of the screen. Item purchase button, whatever it's at. Double tap. And I'm just going to save the media folder for now. Go back, and I'm going to go to my files and show you how to move this. So go to File, or I'm just using File Manager here.
Double tap to activate. Double. Farming simulator. Install SPI numbers. Greater than download. Out of list. And installing Google's Devote Voices and Python stuff. Telegram. DDS screen. Farming simulator. Joshua Nova Backup Launcher. Harvard Nova Backup. Joshua Nova Launcher underscore Harvard Nova Backup. Add folders on Spotify 8.8. Music. 2. Message. 0 items. Download. Documents. 0. Download. Element. For movies. 0 items. 10 of 9. Music. 2 items. 11 of 9. Top global search icon. Samsung. 1 item. Lexus audio editor. 0 like Samsung. 1 item. Android. Download. Element. Movie. Music. 2 items. Notifications. 2 items. 12 of music. Movies. 0 items. 10 of 19. Notifications. 2 items. Yoga message.mp3. More yoga message.mp. Mortal Kombat. Yoga message.mp3. 52.4 KB. 2023. Open with. Double tap to select. File manager. Double tap. Mortal greater than mortal yoga message. Mortal greater than notifications. Out of list. Mortal Kombat.mp3. Yoga message.mp3. 52. Top global search icon. Tech freedom. 5 items. Oxygen. 7. Tech freedom. Cringens. 1 item. Recordings. 2 items. Cringens. 1 item. Darth Vader's March.mp. Showing item 101. Devoted. 3 items. Item. Recordings. 2 Cringens. 1 tech freedom. 5 items. Oxygen. 7. 14 items. Oxygen. Tech freedom. Cringens. Record podcast. 0 items. Pictures. 2 items. Podcast. Record Cringens. Tech freedom. Cringens. 1 recording. Podcast. Pictures. Notifications. 2 items. Yoga message.mp3. 50 items back. Button. Out of list. Yoga Mortal Kombat.mp3.mp3. 28.3 KB.
Okay, so that's how you do that. I guess it'll be saved to your notification folder by default. So now I'm just gonna quickly show you these settings before we end, and yeah, I'm just gonna go back. Now I guess every time you go back, you're gonna get this thing that's in a different language. I think it's in like Spanish or French or something. So I'm just gonna close out of Zedge, open it up again. And we're gonna just go into settings. Got your Zedge account. Phone settings. Notifications. Family filter. So you guys think family friendly browsing, so yeah.
Auto update wallpaper. Enable Zedge's automatic wallpaper refresh. Download at least 2 wallpapers. Double tap to activate.
Auto update wallpaper, so it'll refresh your wallpaper. I just change it. And you need to have at least 2 wallpapers, obviously, for it to change it. I've never used this, so I don't really know how well it works. But I'm just gonna keep going.
Privacy and data. Control how Zedge personalizes advertisements and content. Double tap to
Privacy data and data.
Log out. You are logged in as Sphere 27. Zedge panels out of list. Log out. You are logged in as Sphere 27. List. Windows Edge.
And log out. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I want to talk about. You can explore these settings on your own, and yeah, that's my demo of the Zedge app. Thanks for listening.
Battery 52%. Zedge account. Overview of your battery 52%. Phone sick Wi-Fi signal full. 721. Samsung Health notification. Notification changed. Elapsed. 660. Notification set. Clear. Button disabled. Zedge. Home. Double tap to activate. Home. Google Assistant. Home. Recent apps. Google. Easy Voice Recorder. 1 of 3. Easy Voice Recorder. 001637. Pause. Button. Done. Button. Stop.
Thank you so much, Joshua, and those of you who love customizing ringtones. If you don't mind Zedge, you may install it and give it a run.
So back in the 2007, 2006 days, or even I think up to 2009, I would see at least 10 emails on different email lists on how to make ringtones, how to download ringtones, different sites and of ringtone downloads. And I used Zed's once and really did not get it. So I took the help of my brother to give me some ringtones. But now it's just gone out of fashion. Does any of the groups still make ringtones?
I do, but not with Zedge. In fact, that's given me an idea for a potential future app demo, actually, of the app that I sometimes use, although often I just do it on the computer.
I don't use custom ringtones, but I do use custom notifications. I have different sounds assigned to different apps so that I can know without taking my phone out of my pocket whether it's worth looking at or not.
I actually love my watch for that, John, because I do the same as you. I have different notifications for different apps, but if I want to quickly see who it was from, I can just read it on my watch. I love that.
Back in the days, there was a really nice ringtone saying, "Your wife is calling. Your wife is calling."
You can probably still get
Yeah,
it.
some people used to make a lot of nice ringtones. It is your boss and something and of those lines. But I think these were in fashion because of the Nokia phones, because they could only use the instrumental ringtones. I'm talking about Symbian.
Yeah. After a while, they got better. You could later on in the Symbian days, you could use actual songs or bits of songs, because that's a lot of my Nokia ones I created for Nokia. I then moved over to my Android phone because it will let me use them. Whereas when I wanted to use them on an iPhone, that was a whole lot more complicated. Android lets you just use normal music files.
I think that what happened with ringtones in general, because you remember they used to cost a lot. Someone will create it or websites will create it for you. You pay like $5 a pop or whatever. I think that nowadays people don't really like to, especially the millennium kids, don't want to take phone calls anymore. So people don't do phone calls anymore. They rather do some texting or one of those Instagrams or whatever. And so I think that's kind of the killer of the ringtone stuff. I used to make my own using Audacity, on my computer like Fee, and I'll just cut precisely, fade in or fade out things. And I really like using Audacity. But nowadays, I don't even do any ringtone customizations.
Oh, I did it with Goldwave, but I think I did some with Audacity, and then I decided that Goldwave was easier. But you did have to pay for Goldwave. But I use it. I still use it a lot, so it was worth it for me. But yeah, similar sort of thing. But yeah, you're right. Fewer people phone each other now, do they?
Yeah, I mean, even my kids, if I call them, I'm not gonna get a hold of them. But if I send a text, I get an instant response. So young kids don't do calls anymore. It's old school, it's kind of odd.
And I think people in general seem to just keep their phones on vibrate or silent more often than they used to.
Yeah. And obviously, sighted people, they'll use things like Instagram and Snapchat and stuff to communicate, and WhatsApp and all those, Messenger and that kind of thing.
Exactly. So things have changed a lot, and it's kind of interesting watching these things evolve and all the different phases that we go through in our society. It's fascinating.
I still love ringtones. If that makes me old school, I'm proud to be old school.
Yeah, okay. Join my world.
Yeah. But only so far. I mean, I know someone who doesn't even have a smartphone. That's the person's choice.
So back in the day, I used to like so much ringtones that I used to keep ringtones for each contact. So we could separate out we could like apply a ringtone for one contact. I should do that. Actually, just
I do that.
sit down and do that.
Yeah, I still do that.
That's a lot. I have over 1,000 contacts, and I would not even remember what is for who.
Oh no, I don't do it for everyone. I just do it for somebody like my mum, or someone who rings a lot.
Exactly.
Not like the local library or something. I wouldn't bother with that. But for some family members and friends who ring a lot, then I would do that.
Well, what I did with mine is just the messaging notification, one for my wife and, one for my kids and things like
Yeah.
that. But when it rings, of course, it tells me who's calling anyway. So
Mm.
I haven't done that customization of a ringtone in a long time.
I've done it with messaging tones as well, like you. Yeah, I think it's lovely being able to do that.
It's a beautiful thing. Karine, what do you do with your ringtones? You said specialized ringtones from your squeeze or, something beautiful like that.
Well, I want first to say something about Zedge. Actually, Zedge was a good application before they messed things up with respect to accessibility. But I used to bring from Zedge some notification sounds, lovely notification sounds. But I didn't bring ringtones from there. Actually, I use the whole track as a ringtone. I don't like to cut and stuff. So yeah, I use ringtones. I still like ringtones that are customized for my own use. And actually, I'm using the default ringtone as an Indian film song. Maybe Austin knows about it. So Austin, it's the Jashni Bahar.
Oh wow, that is my favorite song.
Yeah,
There you go.
That is
very,
one ringtone.
very
Yes.
beautiful one. And
Yeah.
I also customize notification tones in WhatsApp for some people, like friends. They will have something special for them, family, something special for them, and this goes also for contacts as well, but as groups. So like the family group will have this ringtone, the friends group will have this. So this is the case, but not for everyone, for just some people.
It's really fascinating to see what the phone has given us. I'm looking at these customizations, and it's a beautiful thing because you can now organize things and know what happens when who does what and things like that. For example, like you're saying, you have one specialized for your family group and things like that. So if someone from the family sends a message, this is someone from the family, and you know whether to respond to it right away or not. And this is one of the beauties of customization, because if it's not someone that is in my contacts and sends a message, I'm not going to be stopping everything to look at it. So I like customization.
You know what, Warren? Now you reminded me about something. There are those people who send the broadcast messages. I don't know if you have such people in US, but those people who will send you good morning and good afternoon, all that stuff to everyone in their contacts and on WhatsApp. So those people annoy me very much. But sometimes you can't say to that person, "Hey, stop doing this." So I put a specific ringtone for those people, specific messaging tone on WhatsApp for those people. Whenever they send something, it will be that tone. It will be delayed.
Yeah, because otherwise you think, oh, it's exciting, a new message, and then it's just somebody saying good afternoon. That's a bit annoying.
For everyone.
Actually, my dad does it.
Is the
But I
special
think-
ringtone that you assign to those people called none?
Go away.
It's silent.
Message, go away.
Exactly. I will take that, John. None. But seriously, though, I think when someone does that, I think that they care about you, they're thinking about you. So it wouldn't be bad for someone to say, "How is your afternoon going?" And I think it's a good thing. Especially
Are they
if
thinking
your
of
dad
you when
does
they
that.
send it to
No,
everyone
they are
in their
sending to
phone book?
everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not thinking of you.
Yeah, Warren, you've obviously not
They're
got
just
anyone who
desperate for
does this to
conversation.
you. Because if you
This is
did,
stupid, actually.
it would get old very quickly. Trust me.
Okay, I got it.
So my dad, he gets up when he wakes up in the morning, he just sends good morning to some of our relatives, and all the people have got customized to his good morning. So they see, okay, his good morning has come. It's like it's time to get up or something.
Nice. All good things must end. Thus, it's curtain drawing time, bringing us to the close of this week's episode. Coming up, though, we give you information on how to get hold of us. Well, with that, we come to the end of this episode, the Great App Bonanza, and we're looking forward to the fourth quarter, which would be toward the end of the year. So if you haven't submitted any of your apps, we encourage you to submit your App Bonanza or app for the App Bonanza so that we'll include it in our last one for this year. We want to thank those of you that have contributed and those of you who wanted to, but something prevented you to. Please send those things in. And with that, Austin, how do people get hold of us?
To contact us, you can send an email to contactus@blindandroidusers.com. You can join our mailing list by sending an email to Blind Android Users plus subscribe at groups.io. You can join our Telegram, Facebook, Discord, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The links for everything will be at the bottom of the show notes and also in the video description of the YouTube channel. And also the links are in the websites panel of the YouTube channels.
Thank you so much. And we come to the end of this one. We're looking forward to seeing you guys next week. And it's time to say goodbye. And from me, have a wonderful week.
Bye.
Later.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. Until we see you next week, don't forget to leave us your comments and suggestions via our email contact or using any of our social media sites. Have a great week.